Hey folks, glad you could join us today. Today's little escapade is going to be involving back in our original area that we exposed or made you all aware of. It's the lower San Pedro River area. I wanted to do a special video on this location right here. We have had the pig sightings, etc., within a couple miles from this location, but the main reason I wanted to show you this in here today is this is going to be a beautiful area that we're going to be walking along the San Pedro River. We've been working with, and this area, as you see the sign behind me, this is a wildlife management area that's owned and overseen by Game and Fish. They are very ecstatic to have people come in here. Not many people know about this. It's pretty amazing because when you get down here and you see the rest of the video that we're going to be showing you, some of the natural fauna, the river, etc., I think you're going to understand that this is pretty amazing. Bottom line is we've got a lot of stuff here. A couple years ago, the gentleman, and you're going to see some fields that Game and Fish will lease out to ranchers, farmers, whatever, on occasion, and they can run their cattle and do whatever. They raise their crops in here if they want. I think, well, back about 2 years ago, back up here, we had a rancher who was leasing a field, had some cows that actually had calves, and he witnessed a large boar trying to attack one of the calves, and that's what they do. A big boar will take down a calf if it can outrun it, and because anything they can outrun they'll eat. And so fortunately the cows and big cows and mother cow, they went after the big boar and chased it off. That was a couple years ago, and that's the most recent sighting we've had in this particular area. We had a couple miles up here, a rancher come across a big boar, probably one of those solo boars that got kicked out by the dominant boar, and it was out running around while they were doing their cattle drive, and that was just a couple miles up off to our west here. But getting back to what we're going to be doing today, and there's camping that can be done in here. Game and Fish are ecstatic that we're using it. They're ecstatic about what we're doing going after the feral hogs, because they don't like them either. Everything they're all about, wildlife, natural wildlife, they are about, and the feral hogs are destructive to wildlife. As if any of you have done any research, they tear up, they eat turkey eggs, quail eggs, they go after young animals, deer, anything they can outrun, they'll eat. And so anyway, so on that note, we're going to go ahead and move on into a couple of the camping sites, and then take our nature walk. These are the fields I was talking about that's part of this Game and Fish management area that they lease out to various ranchers, etc., farmers, if they want to raise crops, whatever. Anyway, this is where we will be focusing on our hunting expeditions. Over there you see the river, and with all the trees, and back in there we've got a few campsites, etc., that people can camp at. Now, the one caveat to that whole thing, or restriction I should say, is that you can't have a, what do you call it, a fire ring, unless there's one already there. Right now there are no fire rings. I'm trying to work with Game and Fish to see if we can go ahead and get at least one fire ring built. If not, then you have to bring your own fire container or whatever. Anyway, all this, what you see right here, this is the area we're going to be focusing on along the river. Game and Fish has advised me that they've got on regular visitations 3 mountain lion. Two of them are real young, one's an older one, and there's also 3 bear that are working the river area. I actually, a few years back, I took a picture of a cub's pad, a foot pad, down here about a mile or so up the river, down the river. And so, yes, again, folks, don't get confused. This is part of the lower San Pedro River area. And so it's the first area that we've been talking about and presented back a couple videos ago, and where we've done all our research, done all of our scouting, and gotten a lot of photography. This is where we saw the herd of pigs, or anyway, we got the herd, the tracks and the wallows, etc. And so on that note, we will continue on, and so we'll be moving. Okay, so this is the beginning of the nature walk that Game and Fish came in here and cut out, and it's going to be running pretty much alongside of the river, and we're going to get to see quite a bit of activity, hopefully some wildlife. Last time I was in here, I couldn't see them because the brush was so thick, but I jumped a herd of something. I wasn't sure if it was hogs or javelina or whatever, but I could hear them moving through, and I could hear the grunts. Sounded like hogs, but also no javelina grunt too, so I couldn't distinguish between the two, but it was a lot of something. And you'll probably, if we're lucky, we'll hear a whole lot of different animal sounds, birds, different birds. We've had sand cranes in here, hawks of all types. But anyway, let's keep moving. Okay, folks, what you're looking at right here is a cottonwood tree, very common, especially along the river here. You got cottonwoods, sycamores, Arizona ash, mesquite by the Julians, and whatever other types of fauna we got. Interesting tidbit about a cottonwood tree. They live for hundreds of years, and I remember studying back in school, I don't remember which class it was, obviously some science class, but the instructor was telling us that a full-grown cottonwood tree, if allowed, will drink up to 20,000 gallons of water a day. That's a lot of water, and fortunately this river feeds a lot of different types of vegetation, obviously. So if we didn't have the trees, well, that river would probably be a lot bigger, because they are drinking a lot of that water. Fortunately, we got the water, like I said in other videos, it surfaces in points or on different locations. In this area right here, it surfaces and runs for about, I don't know, 2-3 miles on the surface. But prior to that, you can drive down the river or up the river. This river is very unusual. It runs south to north. You won't find too many rivers in our country that do that. But bottom line is, it'll surf the water surfaces in different spots, but you can drive another probably 30-40 miles easy before you come to the next surface water area. And then it's only on the surface for a mile or two and goes back underneath all the way, does that all the way to Mexico, to where the river originates from. Okay?
Okay, can you show some of the cotton?
Oh, yeah, the cottonwood. Yeah, this is why they call it that. If someone didn't know better, they would swear they were looking at a cotton plant. Feels, looks, just like cotton. And very interesting. And like I said, they do drink a lot of water, but they also provide lots of beautiful shade, and they live forever. Okay, folks, so getting back to where we have been for the last hour or so on the nature walk that was fortunately provided to us by Game and Fish, which I might add isn't being used hardly at all. There's very little sign of human activity. So it's something that we really appreciate, we enjoy. There's a lot of wildlife sign, etc. down in here. And so why has it been asked, do you like it so much for what we're about, hunting hogs? Well, for one thing, this is primo habitat for hogs, especially when it gets really hot. Why is that? Because it stays cooler down here. 100 yards that direction, maybe 200 yards that direction, you got desert. And these hogs have to have two things. Well, one thing primarily. One is water. They don't sweat. So they have to have an abundance of water that they can wallow in to cool down, and mud to coat themselves to keep the bugs off of them. And actually, hogs really are pretty clean animals. So bottom line, we figure that this is a great area for hog hunters to come down in. You're going to find different places where the females, when they're pregnant, they'll go in and find the thickest stuff you can dream of that hardly they can fit into, and that's where they have their litters. That's where they're safe and secure. But this is a great area. Obviously, for hunting purposes, you've seen from our video that it's not long-range shooting. I would, if I were to be hunting in here, I have a 300 blackout with a red dot. Works great. A 12 gauge with slugs and or buckshot would work great. Handguns, yeah, because you're going to be in pretty close with this stuff. Any kind of shooting you do, at the most you might get 50 yards, and that's going to be hard to find in places like this. But it's close range. If for the archery hunters, ideal. The only bad thing about it is a lot of leaves. It's kind of hard to move quietly unless it's rain. Now, so monsoon season, yeah, that would work. Or anytime after a rain. Monsoon gets a little hot and sticky, but for those hardcore hog hunters, which Arizona has, you can do it. Okay, folks, this more or less completes our little excursion into this this different area. This is a beautiful, totally different than what southern Arizona is about. It's one of the most intriguing, exciting places that I think I've ever seen in southern Arizona. I mean, literally, you have 150, 200 yards over there, saguaro cactus desert hills for sure. And the same way over this direction. And it's just off of Highway 77 coming out of Mammoth. And here where we're at right now is a beautiful area for camping, etc. Again, I think if anybody were really into hunting, and I don't care what you're hunting because there's everything here just about. You've got bear, lion, coatimundi, you've got javelina, you've got hogs, what else? Coyote, bobcat, you name it, they're here. Don't forget the skunks. Can't forget the skunks. Anyway, so this is, in my mind, an estimation, even for a non-hunter type individual, just to come out here and camp and to visualize what this is all about. And I mean, it really leaves an imprint on your brain when you walk through here, realizing that this is part of southern Arizona. It's not much of, I mean, yeah, the river probably only extends 300-400 yards at the widest, but it's for miles. It starts at the border of Mexico, well, beyond that, but continues north all the way past Kearney, and I haven't gone past that along the river, but it's just really something to get excited about. I'm excited about it. I think if you all come out here and do some camping or hunting or whatever you want to do, this is a place to come just to get away. Now, in the summertime, it gets hot. This is a nice, cool area with the trees and everything. But the other 3 seasons of the year, ideal. And we hope you all enjoyed our little adventure today. And we ask you, if you liked what you saw today and enjoy what we're doing, please hit that like button, share it, get other people involved, let them see what southern Arizona has to offer, because it is quite amazing. And on that note, I'll say bye-bye.